Run It Back Nation, what is good? It is your boy DJ Eastwood, Run It Back Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros. Algo gang, continue to do your thing on these videos. Hit the like button, that shoots me through the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. Turn your notifications on if you don't have your notifications on, or if they're not working and you would like them to work. Go into your settings, turn them off, turn them back on, because YouTube notifications are weird. Let's get right down to business. Wait, before we do, tonight on Playback TV, we're doing another film session, Sixers film session live on Playback TV. Last one we did a couple days ago, we had 50 live viewers in there, man. That was a great turnout. It was a fun time. We hang out, we go through Sixers film, we discuss it, we're interactive with the chat. I can even take live callers on that show. Playback.tv/runitbackphilly tonight at 9 p.m. Sixers film review. Join us! Let's get down to business. The Sixers beat the Minnesota Timberwolves on a back-to-back, 117-94. 117-94. Yeah, the 6th seed Western Conference Minnesota Timberwolves scored 94 points in an entire NBA game. The story of the game is simple. Joel Embiid scored 39 points in 3 quarters on the most overrated NBA player in history, Rudy Gobert. And Rudy Gobert is a small-scale example of how advanced analytics have ruined the game and people's assessment of the game and even the value of NBA players. And we will get into that in a couple of minutes. But first, let's break down exactly what Joel Embiid did in this game. James Harden didn't play, so this is without a point guard, James Harden setting him up. This was Joel Embiid creating offense basically the entire game. Tyrese Maxey did his job at trying to be a facilitator, but this was really just Joel Embiid in ISO situations, absolutely barbecuing the entire Minnesota Timberwolves team. It has been confirmed that Joel Embiid on the first night of this back-to-back was not trying whatsoever. In my Sixers-Pacers recap video, I kind of had the overlook or outlook that Joel Embiid wasn't trying in that game defensively. He was just watching people do wide-open layups. He wasn't really rebounding. He finished that game with 5 total rebounds. He only had 7 rebounds in this game, but his defensive effort overall made it obvious that in his defensive effort overall in this game against the Timberwolves made it clear or solidified my conspiracy that he was not trying in the Indiana Pacers game. And he wasn't trying. And, you know, the NBA gives you a back-to-back on the road in March. Joel Embiid said, you know, screw the Pacers game. I don't really care that much. I'm going to coast through this one and try to win it at the end, and that's exactly what they did. And then the second night of the back-to-back tonight, or last night against the Timberwolves without James Harden, Joel Embiid gave absolute maximum defensive effort and held the Minnesota Timberwolves to 94 points. He finished the game with 3 blocks, a couple of egregious blocks. One of them, Anthony Edwards, where he just completely palmed the entire basketball and slammed it into the floor in front of him. Joel Embiid completely dominated this game on both sides of the floor. Both sides of the floor. Joel has scored 81 points in 48 hours. And really how he scored those points in this game was the jump shot. Joel had his jump shot falling early, and that makes it a long night for anybody trying to guard him in the NBA. I mean, turnaround fadeaways, one-footed fadeaways, face-up jumpers, step-back threes. He was 4 for 4 from the three-point line. He was 9 for 9 from the free throw line. And to be totally honest with you, the referees missed a lot of calls that were obvious. He only had 9 free throws. I think he probably should have had about 14 or 15. But 4 for 4 from the three-point line, 9 for 9 from the free throw line. Facing up Rudy Gobert, shooting over him, just really hesitation, shooting jumpers over top of 7'1", one of the longest wingspans in history, Rudy Gobert, just shooting right over top of him and splashing jump shot after jump shot. I would say that Joel Embiid is probably the only human being on the planet who can shoot a jump shot over the outstretched arms of Rudy Gobert. Joel having his jump shot falling in this game allows him to play harder defense, because then the team's really the other team's really in trouble, because then Joel is really just not exerting so much energy offensively because he's settling for jump shots, but the jump shots going in at a high rate. So he doesn't really have to go hard under the rim, banging bodies, getting in the post, forcing things on double teams in the paint. He did a couple times in this game. but it was mostly jump shots. And when that jump shot's falling, he can conserve his energy and really exert his energy on the defensive side of the floor. And that resulted in a much better defensive effort from Joel throughout the game, which resulted in 3 blocks. The Minnesota Timberwolves could not guard Joel Embiid whatsoever. Rudy Gobert could not guard Joel Embiid whatsoever. And his last time guarding Joel Embiid in this game was last time matching up against Joel Embiid in this game. He got denied at the rim, Rudy Gobert, by Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid came up with the loose ball, kept it inbounds, and Gobert kind of shoved him onto the floor as a bit of a frustration foul, and that was the end of Rudy Gobert and Joel Embiid's matchup. The Timberwolves then switched Rudy Gobert onto PJ Tucker and put Kyle Anderson on Joel Embiid. Yes, that actually happened. The player, one of the greatest players in history. I was looking up articles from 2001. I'm going to read a tweet here in a second regarding this, but Rudy Gobert in 2021 was regarded as having a historic NBA season. There was articles being written that he was doing things that no other player in NBA history has ever done. And these are the reasons that he was traded for 5 first-round draft picks. Yes, the player that the Timberwolves gave up 5 first-round draft picks for was switched off of Joel Embiid, was then guarding PJ Tucker in the corner. That is embarrassing, but that should be a lesson for everybody that continues to overrate players based on advanced analytics and refuses to watch games. We're going to get to the point where they put the calculators down and watch games, but it's not happening yet. But it's coming out, okay? Because we're getting to the point where Rudy Gobert and Nikola Jokic are the 2 best players in NBA history, and LeBron and Jordan don't even compare because people look at nothing but advanced analytics. But anyway, Gobert switched on to PJ Tucker, which was funny. The Timberwolves, as Joel Embiid then started to cook Kyle Anderson, they had no answer. They, at one point, double-teamed Joel with Kyle Anderson and Rudy Gobert, and he shot a fadeaway jump shot over both of them and hit it. They tried Naz Reid on Joel. He hit him with a hezzy right-handed dribble, spin left-handed finish, and won. There was no stopping him. The Minnesota Timberwolves tried absolutely everything they could, and it didn't matter. He had 39 points in 3 quarters, and the Sixers put the game away. Here's my tweet on Rudy Gobert and advanced analytics. Here we go. Let me get to it real quick. Hold on. We are okay, here we go. Advanced analytics has totally warped the brains of NBA fans and NBA GMs, except for Danny Ainge, and subsequently cost the Minnesota Timberwolves 5 first-round picks for a non-superstar in reality, but a historic player when it comes to math equations. Here's the title of an article that I found from 2021 written by Taylor Griffin. Rudy Gobert is having a historic season. Gobzilla is putting up numbers that no one in NBA history has before. Can he keep it up? And you find out that those numbers are not real numbers. Best clutch shooters among NBA players with at least 10 clutch games played and at least 18% usage, Rudy Gobert. They talked about his field goal percentage, EFG, efficient field goal. I don't even know what EFG really stands for. True shooting percentage, free throw attempts, win shares, offensive, defensive win shares, offensive, defensive rating, and rebound percentage. These numbers led people to write articles that Rudy Gobert is one of the greatest players in NBA history, and in turn, he was traded for 5 first-round draft picks. The Minnesota Timberwolves fell hook, line, and sinker for the advanced analytics BS in today's NBA, and it cost them big time. Because in reality, Rudy Gobert just finished a game against Joel Embiid with 6 points and 9 rebounds. It was 2 for 6 from the field. So you gave up 5 first-round picks for a guy that scored 6 points and 9 rebounds against Joel Embiid in 25 minutes. That's the point I wanted to make about advanced analytics and Rudy Gobert. All right, let's continue. What else we got? Maxey in this game. Tyrese Maxey continues his onslaught of scoring while in the starting lineup, and I just think his confidence is coming back. He's really looking like he's engaged. He's really looking like he is sure of himself in every situation he's put in on the floor, and he was absolutely cooking, especially in the fourth quarter once Joel was out and didn't return. Maxey was shredding the Timberwolves, shooting threes over Anthony Edwards, shooting step-back threes over Kyle Anderson, 2 hezzy dribble step-back threes over Kyle Anderson in the fourth quarter for Tyrese Maxey. In the total of the game, he was 9 for 16, 4 for 7 from 3, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. He was doing his thing, facilitating, trying to make up for the lack of James Harden. A little bit of a two-man game with him and Joel in the beginning of the game. But the second half, when the Sixers had a 20-point lead, I put up a poll in the playback chat, and I said, are the Sixers going to extend the lead and put this game away easily, or are they going to blow the lead? And the Sixers finally extended a lead and put a game away easily, and it was because of Tyrese Maxey in the fourth quarter, who just kept the foot on the gas, kept going right at the defense, and kept extending the lead for the Sixers to put this game away easily. And there was a play that I remember off the top of my head in the fourth where after he hit a couple step-back threes, after he hit a driving floater, he drove all the way into the lane one-handed. The defense collapsed, and he kicked it out to George Niang in the corner. Beautiful play by Tyrese Maxey, drawing the defense as a result of his scoring, and then being able to kick the ball out to George Niang for a wide-open corner three, who, by the way, is one of the highest corner three-point shooters in the NBA right now, George Niang, so shout out to him for that. He was 3 for 6 from the floor, 2 for 5 from 3, 6 rebounds, 8 points off the bench. But Tyrese Maxey just had an amazing game. He has such a quick trigger. There was a shot in the first quarter where he was on the left wing. Anthony Edwards was out on him outside the three-point line, and Maxey just shoots it. It's almost like he doesn't have to be open to get a shot off. And it's just, he was hitting it. I mean, it was beautiful. If we can continue to get Tyrese Maxey to climb up these stairs of rehab since his foot injury and coming back slow and all of those things, if we can continue to get him to ramp up back to his level of 25-point-per-game scorer when given the opportunities, which I really think he is, we can make some big-time noise by the time the playoffs come around. But I think it's important for Tyrese Maxey to be on the floor with at least one of Joel Embiid or James Harden at all times. The Timberwolves were leaving him wide open just like the Pacers were, which is a detriment to the other team's defense and not really caring about Tyrese Maxey for some reason. So shout out to him for making them pay. And yeah, he extended the lead in the fourth quarter literally single-handedly and put the game away as Anthony Edwards was just chucking threes once the game was hypothetically over when they were up 20 in the fourth. Anthony Edwards dropped 40 points in this game and dunked on Jalen McDaniels in the first quarter. But at the end of the day, that's really all the Minnesota Timberwolves had. Anthony Edwards, 12 for 24, 5 for 10 from the field, 7 rebounds. Other than that, they got 6 from Mike Conley, 6 from Rudy Gobert, 7 from Kyle Anderson, 3 from Jalen McDaniels' brother. Taurean Prince had 13 off the bench. Naz Reid had 11. All of those things really happened in the fourth quarter. The Minnesota Timberwolves got nothing from anybody outside of Anthony Edwards, and I'm really wondering how they are the 6th seed in the West. I mean, they looked absolutely atrocious in this game as a team. They don't look like they have a number 2 option on the team. They don't look like they have any depth at all. I know Karl Anthony Towns has not been playing this season. He's been injured for a couple of months, but they are the 6th seed in the West. So were the Sixers just this good? Were the Minnesota Timberwolves just this bad? I mean, they were awful. They were awful. Tobias Harris and PJ Tucker go right back into the starting lineup once they get healthy, as was predicted. I know everybody was saying Jalen McDaniels should get the start because he had a 20-point game against the Indiana Pacers in his first start as a Philadelphia 76er. But as was predicted, as soon as those players were healthy, Doc Rivers' favorite old guys, he would put them right back into the starting lineup, and he did that. And I don't know if Tobias Harris should be coming off the bench. Tobias Harris in this game in 34 minutes had a mere 10 points, 2 for 8 from the field. But again, the game was all Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. I like the fact that actually Tobias Harris wasn't really forcing too many shots throughout this game or trying to take the ball away from those two. I like that he was playing his role in the game. He did have 14 rebounds, That's always nice to see Tobias Harris with 14 rebounds because rebounding equals effort. And if somebody like Tobias Harris is grabbing 14 boards, that tells me that he was at least giving maximum effort on the defensive end and on the rebounding end. And that's really all you need from him. Catch and shoot when you're wide open, play defense, grab rebounds. It's all you can really ask from Tobias Harris. He's not a superstar. We know that. And the ball was really always in Joel Embiid's and Tyrese Maxey's hands this whole game. So I don't think Tobias had a terrible game. PJ Tucker back in the starting lineup was weird tonight. Okay, he played 20 last night. He played 22 minutes. He had a goose egg. His stat line in 22 minutes was 0 points and 1 rebound. He did absolutely nothing the whole game. There was a couple of times where the ball was swung to PJ Tucker, and not only was he not deep in the corner beyond the three-point line where he's supposed to be, he was standing in the mid-range and just passing the ball as soon as he touched it like it was a hot potato. If you really watched the offense with PJ Tucker on the floor last night, it looked like it was 4-on-5. I don't understand why he's so disinterested in scoring or shooting the ball in general. But, PJ Tucker, at least last night after coming back from the back spasms, did not look 100%. Looked like an odd fit a lot of times. I think in a perfect world, Jalen McDaniels would get the start. PJ Tucker would come off the bench. We will see if Dinosaur Doc Rivers makes that kind of adjustment. But PJ Tucker looked horrendous last night in the starting lineup. I don't know. We're going to have to see if, what happens moving forward. Not that Jalen McDaniels looked great last night by any means. He had 5 points in 17 minutes off the bench, 2 for 4 from the field, but he really just looked sloppy a lot of times on the offensive end. He played the solid defense that he's known to play, even though he got yammed on by Anthony Edwards, but who doesn't get yammed on by Anthony Edwards? Daniel House Jr. looked like a decent level NBA player once again. Some nice plays from Daniel House Jr., a couple of corner threes, some driving, one play where, he got a rebound, ran the floor by himself and finished on the other end. So to have any player on the roster that can take the ball end to end in transition is nice for the Sixers. So shout out to Daniel House Jr. Maybe he continues to ramp up his level of play, gets back into the rotation, and gives us some kind of valuable basketball in the playoffs. Who knows? Paul Reed played 20 minutes at backup center, 2 points, 3 fouls, 3 rebounds, 1 for 7 from the field. Not a great performance by Paul Reed whatsoever, but he's a backup center. He's not a superstar. He's not going to give you an amazing performance every night. I don't want his 1 for 7 in this game to make Doc Rivers think that he can't play backup center heading toward the playoffs because Dwayne Dedmon was healthy. He was a DNP. Montrezl Harrell was healthy. He was a DNP. I'm liking the Sixers roster right now with Daniel House stepping his game up, with Paul Reed getting all the backup center minutes, with Jalen McDaniels getting 17, almost 20 minutes in this game, 30 minutes last game. I'm starting to like the rotations. So, Doc, just don't change anything, okay? And the last note here is that Furkan Korkmaz came in the game for 5 minutes and was 2 for 2 from the field and hit a three-pointer. So I've seen enough. Build around Furkan Korkmaz. The time is now. I'm absolutely joking. Hopefully, this does not lead Doc Rivers also to think that Furkan Korkmaz should be getting rotation minutes. I hope that does not happen. I just don't think Furkan... Listen, if Furkan has his shot back, like he's had in situations in his career, and, they said he was injured last year, so maybe he was injured and maybe now he's healthy, but Furkan Korkmaz is just a shot maker. He can't play any defense. He can't rebound in the NBA. So when he's not making his shots, he's absolutely worthless. And you can't play him because we already have one of those players on the floor, and his name is George Niang. That's my take on it. And DeAnthony Melton had 11 points in 32 minutes, 4 for 10 from the field. DeAnthony Melton is shooting 40% from 3 this season. So that's been huge for the Sixers too, because he's a two-way guard, can rebound. He had 7 rebounds in this game. He can rebound, he can play defense, and he's shooting 40% from 3. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a perfect combo guard for this team. Give me all your thoughts and opinions in the comments. The Sixers are 4-1 on the road trip that they are on. They win the back-to-back. They have off tonight. We're going to go through some film later at 9 o'clock, so join me for that on PlaybackTV. Playback.tv/RunItBackPhilly. Hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to the channel. Turn your notifications on. Thank you for tuning in. You guys are the best, man. Peace.